once again. Little hesitation. The left hand. What a move by SGA.
Another block.
Chet Holmgren, the long arm of the law. Back in the game. These are key minutes without SGA. And another drive. J. Dom cocks it back and throws it down.
This is Uthart. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, and welcome to the Uncontested Podcast, coming to you live Thursday, May 28th, also known as the day the Thunder punched their ticket to the NBA Finals 9 years after they lost at home in the Western Conference Finals. They are back, and boy, did they do it in emphatic fashion. A 124-94, just a thorough ass whooping of the Minnesota Timberwolves in Game 5. Woo! I'm your host, Jacob Niffen. I got JD with me.
Fellas, they said, don't count your chickens before they're hatched. You got to win Game 5. The chickens hatched, and I threw them in the damn deep fryer. We're going to the finals.
We got Justin Peabody.
Hello, everybody.
We've got Taylor Peterson.
Thunder in 5, baby. We are back in the West or in the finals, which is just incredible. I posted two pictures side by side.
Taylor.
Two pictures side by side of when I was there 2012 against the Spurs, and tonight.
Pretty awesome.
Pretty incredible.
Hey, so there's already the chat's already popping off. We got tons of people in the live stream. Tell your friends, tell your parents, tell your dog, tell your ex-girlfriend, get in the stream, come hang out. Let's have some fun tonight. The Oklahoma City Thunder are going to the NBA Finals. Before we dive into this, before we just geek out, I need to let you know we're brought to you by the Blue Wire Podcast Network and our homies over at Prairie Artisan Ales. JD rocking the Prairie shirt. Justin rocking the Prairie shirt. They're beautiful Prairie shirts. Go get you a Prairie shirt. Hey, speaking of T-shirts, do we have the picture loaded up, JD?
No, sir.
Can you get it loaded up while I talk?
Yeah.
You guys can join the Patreon. I say this all the time. Is there a better time to join the Patreon than for the NBA freaking finals?
No.
Come hang out in the Patreon. JD looks very handsome tonight, says Trav.
Oh, thank you, Travi.
Probably all the beers.
Probably all the beers.
Probably. Join the Patreon. We're going to have a special Patreon pod for you guys this next week as we head towards the NBA Finals. A week from tonight is Game 1 next Thursday. You can follow us on social media, anywhere you get your social media content, anywhere you get podcast content. Follow us on YouTube as well. And JD is now going to show you an incredible T-shirt that our guy Justin cooked in the lab.
Yes.
There we go.
Let me zoom in a little bit here.
There
for
she
you.
is.
There she is.
One
You
of
guys
two
can
designs.
you guys can
So
find
sick.
this.
Oh, the white, the off-white.
Yeah, the ivory is so good.
Yes. And then there's this one as well. Yes.
This is my fave. The final script is so good.
Oh
and
man, you
so
killed
this
it,
is really
Justin.
fun to recreate.
Amazing work, Justin.
So you guys can find these on our Cotton Bureau site. We will put it in the YouTube description and the pod description. And can somebody drop it in the chat for us right now? Taylor, can you drop it in the chat for us right now? Thank you, Taylor.
I think I'm buying this one, Justin. Holy cow.
Absolutely.
So
all right,
good.
gentlemen,
Has all the scores of all the games that they
That's
played
so
so far, which is
sick,
kind of
dude.
dope.
That's so sick. All right. 30-point ass whooping of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Thunder in 5. JD, after Game 1, we texted.
We said it.
We said we regretted not taking them in 5 and instead doing it in 6.
I said these guys are idiots.
I mocked you for,
the Wolves, not
for
us.
being a prisoner of the moment.
Yeah. Yes.
And yet, here we are. Also, to that note, we've got some super chats. First one from Ant-Man, which I'm assuming is Anthony Edwards coming to us live from the locker room. says, I take back my previous comment. Extend dub tomorrow. We
Love
also
it.
have David Skelton staying on brand. Nick Crane, no brain. Thunder and 5. I'm the expert now.
Look at me.
Um,
Look at me. I am the expert now.
For those wondering where Nick is, Nick was on an airplane tonight because he is doing big boy things and going to scout actual NBA players in Italy, which
So
is like
here's the crazy part.
pretty
That's not
good
until
excuse.
that's not until this weekend. This dude has been flying all over the place. Mexico twice. Him
Oh,
and his
that's
wife
right.
just had a baby moon. They just got back in Dallas like a couple hours ago. And then he's about to fly out to Italy
wild
this
man.
weekend for basketball, which
The
is
God,
international
Taylor's,
minute.
Taylor's airing all in Nick's
I was
information. About the
Yeah,
flight
it's not.
numbers and the social security
yeah,
number too.
that's right. He will not be home, and here is his address.
Oh my
in
gosh.
these dates.
We also have Old Wumpus, absolute, unequivocal, immaculate shellacking by the Thunder tonight.
Incredible.
Beautiful
Incredible
wordplay.
word choice. And then last but not least, Nick says, Alexa, play Whoop That Trick.
Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick.
So good.
Fellas, bring your ass.
Bring your ass.
Bring yes.
Brighton says, chat, do you have to pay to have a comment read now? I just read your comment, Brighton, so the answer is no.
But you should pay.
Yeah.
JD,
Yes.
there have been 9 times in playoff basketball history where a team has been held to a single-digit scoring quarter. 2 of those 9 have happened by the Thunder defense this playoff run. First one, Game 4 in Denver, first quarter, the ugliest basketball I've ever watched in my life. The second one, first quarter tonight. As that first quarter is coming to a close, and the Wolves have 9 points, and the Thunder have like 26.
Yeah.
Just, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are you doing?
You know what I've been thinking, Jacob, is as this playoff run has gone on, I have been able to have more and more faith in what I think is going to happen in these games. I've been able to bet, and it's like what I think is going to happen, the Thunder act upon. Didn't think that in the Denver series. That was kind of their growing up series. But this series, it's like they've just dialed it up on all fronts. And I thought that we would know in the first few minutes of this game if they were going to shut the door on the Wolves.
Yep.
And lo and behold, I felt like I knew in the first few minutes of this game that they were going to shut the door on the Wolves. And damn it, they did. They destroyed those bastards.
Yep. They came out and threw a haymaker, and it felt like, I mean, what's crazy is it just felt like the other times we've seen this in this playoffs, which is a crazy statement to say. They did it against Memphis. They did it against Denver. They did it again against Minnesota. The fact that the competition, the level of competition keeps rising, and the Thunder keep finding ways to just annihilate teams in the first quarter and the first half. Super impressive stuff. Also, to build on your stat, Jacob, 2 of those times that teams have been held to single digits in a quarter in the playoffs happened in this playoff run for the Thunder. The previous time was 73 years ago. It's not something that happens.
73 years ago?
Correct.
Wow.
Nobody was even alive 73 years
Correct.
ago.
And none of the teams who have accomplished this feat exist anymore.
Wait, can you repeat that, Justin? What?
73 years ago was the last time before
The
this Thunder team.
1950s?
Correct. 1950. 1952, right? Math. I was told there'd be no math. 73 years ago was the last time a team held their opponent to single digits in a
Got
quarter.
held to single digits and then got sent over to fight in Korea.
Yeah.
Vietnam.
That's pre-Vietnam, Taylor. That's how old that is.
You are the history
Don't
teacher.
question the
That is
history
crazy.
teacher, Taylor.
That is
Those
crazy.
dudes fought in World War II, came home, started a basketball team, and got held to single-digit points.
Oh my
They were
gosh.
literally smoking cigarettes in between quarters back in that time. Guys, it wasn't just, I got to be a little quiet here because Brooks is going to sleep. It wasn't just that first quarter, though. You can continue that, project that out to the second or to the first half. The Wolves were the 3rd team to have more turnovers than made shots in a half this playoffs.
That's
Funny
insane.
enough, guess who one of the other 2 teams was? the Grizzlies in Game 3 against this very same defense.
Wow.
This is from a friend of the podcast, Daniel Bell. 4th lowest amount allowed in a half in a playoff game ever. And the 3rd time this postseason, Thunder have had a 30-plus point lead a half. That is domination.
Bonkers.
Just insane.
It's been an insane playoff run so far. And kind of like what you were saying, Silva, it's impressive to watch this team rise to the level of competition, whether that be through struggle, like the Nuggets series, or like the Memphis series or the Wolves series, where maybe not quite as much struggle. But even the way they bounce back from getting their tails handed to them in Game 3, right? What did they do? They won a hard-fought game in Game 4 in which every stat was against them except the final score, and then came home and just literally reversed the 40-point loss with a blowout on their own home court. It's incredibly impressive stuff from this team.
Yeah, no one's going to remember that 40-point game, like that 40-point loss. That
No.
is so far behind them at this point.
I don't know who retweeted it from the account, but the video of Wolves fans chanting "Wolves in 6" as they left the Target
Yeah.
Center after Game 3. A+ bookmark usage.
I have a question. I have a question
Absolutely.
for you all. Were the Wolves better than the Nuggets, or did the Thunder just get that much better as the playoffs went on?
Both.
I think this
sorry.
is where
Nuggets were better, and the Thunder also improved. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's matchups. I think this is where you see the swing that matchups can have in a playoff series. I don't know that the Nuggets are better than the Timberwolves. I think the Thunder match up way better with the Timberwolves than they did the Nuggets. The size of the
that
Nuggets.
wasn't the narrative,
Yeah.
because the Wolves have a lot of size.
Right.
It's just the Thunder have smaller dudes who can just bring complete and total terror to you.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, the first quarter and a half, Naz Reid spent more time laying on the floor than actually running on the floor.
Yeah, Thunder had a
Yep.
mental
And
edge this entire series. I think.
There's so many things we could talk about.
I
With
think
this
that's a
game.
big
Like,
piece too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Silva, I had that
Emotional
same exact thought
maturity.
today. Like I had a flashback to Game 1. We saw Game 1, the Thunder come out and win convincingly after Chris Finch and the entire Wolves players and bench are just complaining, and they were already worried about fouls and Shai and the refereeing before the series started. Then you get settled into the series, but they're down 3-1, backs against the wall, and we saw the same exact thing happen tonight. Like I had flashbacks to Game 1. I think you bring up a good point. They weren't locked in because they were more concerned about that stuff than they were actually playing basketball.
I'm watching the Wolves down 20 and Ant not running back on defense and going like this.
Yeah. It's
to the
insane.
official. It's like, dude, go run back and play defense. Talk to the official later. Like,
Right. The game is still happening.
insane. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things about this game, but that first half, just you would be very hard pressed. All things considered, the style of basketball that is played today, how it's tilted to the offensive side of the ball, the shooting, the skill level, the spacing of the court, all things considered, you would be hard pressed to find a better half of defense in the past 50 years of the NBA than what you saw tonight. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. That was, I mean, that was insane. I mean, it was just they couldn't dribble, they couldn't pass,
They couldn't stand still.
Justin, you absolutely hit the nail on the head the other day. You talked about how DiVincenzo and Nah shot well at home, and they're not going to do it on the road. And I'm watching these dudes smoke bunnies, afraid to get to the basket. At one point, when the game was still, it wasn't really within reach in the third quarter, but Alexander Walker and DiVincenzo combined 2 of 11 for 6 points.
Yeah, crazy. They looked like completely different players. And
something
that really, like, one of my biggest takeaways while we're finishing, kind of wrapping up, talking about that first half of incredible basketball that was played. And this goes back to what you said, Scylla, about this team growing up, like, in front of our eyes through the playoffs this year. How many times this playoffs have we been upset are a little frustrated with the Thunder coming out sluggish, not starting hot, it's not setting the tone. And that's exactly what they did tonight. And I thought this was a really cool quote post-game from Daignault. I heard it on my way home on the radio, and Gallo tweeted it out. But Daignault said that Shai set a tone on offense and Dort did it on defense to begin the game, and that it's fitting that it was those two guys, the longest tenured players on the team, delivered from the very start of the game that sends them to the finals, who were there from the very beginning of the rebuild. I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's been my since that game 3 where they got blown out and the Wolves just came out with way more energy. That's kind of what I'm looking for at the beginning of these games now, is like, are they going to come out and meet the competition? The game 3, I think, was a unique circumstance where the Wolves were like a caged animal. Like they had to stay alive no matter what. And it's hard to match that specific level of energy. But since then, I've been very impressed, very impressed with how they've looked coming out. And like everyone's playing hard. I think Chet especially is playing super hard right out of the gate.
Incredible.
I can't wait to talk about the big 3.
Let me ask you guys this. This series, game 7 of the Denver series, more specifically the past 2 nights, past 2 games, and what you've seen from the big 3 and what we've seen from a shooting standpoint. Aberration, flash in the pan, or turning of a corner. Because let me tell you something. If it's a turning of the corner, they might win the finals in 4 by an average of 20 a game. If the past 2 games are an indication. I mean, dude, the big 3 tonight scored what, 70 something points?
Yeah. No, I think that
50
is
something at half.
More so than the shooting, which I think is still too small of a sample size. Like, the shooting thing, I think, is going to continue to be an issue every time this team plays on the road. It could be good, but the odds are that it won't be, given what we've seen in the playoffs. But the play of the big 3 in the last 2 games, I think it has me really excited. The aggressiveness that all 3 of those guys have shown, Shai's efficiency, Dub attacking at every second of every play, and Chet doing everything. It feels like they are starting to ascend a little bit as a trio. And that is not something that we'd seen throughout most of the playoffs. It'd been pretty up and down. Well-documented struggles for some of those guys. That's the part that I think heading into the finals, if Chet and Dub are playing like this, it's tough. This team just takes on a whole different look because you don't have to rely on Lou Dort shooting,
right,
or
role
Alex
players,
Caruso shooting,
bench
or
scoring.
Right, exactly. When those 3 are scoring at that clip and being that efficient, it changes. I think it changes the ceiling of this team.
And Justin, not only those 3 are ascending together, but to me, the thought I've had the past 2 games watching this, the past 2 games watching this team, is that we're seeing all this Presley's master plan coming to fruition. You have Chet, Dub, and Shai playing off each other so well. And then you have these other role players stepping up. Tonight it was Lou Dort. Obviously, it's been Alex Caruso and Cason Wallace for a majority of these playoffs. But iHeart, obviously. I thought iHeart didn't have a big flashy stat line, but still had a pretty solid game tonight, even if you couldn't really play the 2 bigs together that often. Just overall, I think the big 3 finding their groove together. Chet finally getting his legs back under him and looking more like himself after the injury. Like, all of it, knock on wood, coming together at the perfect time. It's just so exciting and so promising. And like, shows you not just this season, regardless of what happens next series, but what we have to look forward to for years ahead.
Yep. I've got some more super chats. This one feels relevant from Ian. It was sweet watching the Thunder hold the Western Conference Finals trophy, but also kind of odd considering the big 3 is under 27.
That is crazy.
They're all so young.
But I did see a stat. I forget who tweeted it out earlier today, but I mean, they were already assuming the Thunder were going to make it to the finals. And it was like youngest final appearances from guards. And Shai was one of the youngest at 26. But Russell Westbrook was like 23.
Yeah.
when they made it. Like that
Yeah.
that 2012 run almost
You
did
almost
it again.
did it again.
Like 2 nights ago.
2012.
is insane. But anyways,
It
it made
is
me think of
insane.
that when you said that, Justin.
Meek Leak with a super chat. What a performance. The big three are becoming what we always hoped. Thank you for your coverage, fellas. We also have Sam giving us some props. Our 4 MVPs right here. Aww.
Sorry, Nick.
Eat shit, Nick.
And then our guy Carrie, who says this is the most likable iteration of the Thunder. They play the game the right way, have multiple guys that step in, and most of all represent the whole state of Oklahoma with class. See you guys soon. Don't tell
Can't
that to
wait,
the internet
Carrie.
that
Yep.
this is
Yeah,
the most
that's
likable iteration of the Thunder, but I think you're right, Carrie.
Yeah,
It's
Can't
the
wait to
You're
see
right.
you
most
soon,
fun.
Gary.
It's
I was-
the most
and then,
fun for sure.
Last but not least, Thin Blue says the free throw merchant had 34 points with 4 free throws.
It's amazing.
Take
Yeah,
that.
Shai
was
for
Doris
data.
Burke as bad tonight?
Yes.
She was
Really?
actually startlingly quiet. It was like
That's
she
what I
ran-
was going to say.
It was like she ran out of her all of her flashcards were Timberwolves points, and there was no reason to talk about them because they were getting their ass kicked, their balls beat like a drum. So she just didn't have anything to say for a large
Yeah.
chunk of the game.
Hey, I
She-
want you guys to know that before the game, on the drive to the game, at the game, I searched and searched and searched for a meme of one of the dire wolves getting killed. And it was going to be the wolves, and I was going to put Shai's face on it.
Yeah.
Couldn't find a good one.
You should have done
Yikes.
spoiler alert for those of you who still haven't watched Game of Thrones. But
If you haven't
Wow.
watched Game of Thrones yet, then
Right.
that's your problem, not
You're
mine.
past the
Red-
statute of limitations.
post Red Wedding, when
Oh,
Rob
the-
Stark's
Sorry, yeah.
being brought out and has his
Yikes.
direwolf head on him.
Yeah,
Yikes.
I
we
tried
were
to find one, but not great.
talking about the comment that was it Carrie? I think it was Carrie that left it about the this team being like the most likable iteration. The bond across the team. We talked about this before the
gosh.
pod started. Like the bond and the relationships across the team, top to bottom, just seem much more genuine and real than. I was like 15 when this when this team last went to the finals, but just looking back, this team seems much more connected and they have a defined collective vision. And it was the first go for everyone last time. That makes sense why that would be the case.
Okay, so my brother just sent me this. Him and his wife are still out in Bricktown. He sends me this picture and says Thunder Legends. And for those of you who can't see
I
the
have
picture,
no idea
or
what I'm
listening,
looking at.
it is it's the Brickman guy that paints his belly for each game. Brickman, the dude who paints his belly for each game, and the Caruso guy who dresses up as Caruso for each game.
That's amazing.
All together.
Interesting.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, JD, I think you're right in the sense that, like, I don't know, just the closeness that this team plays with, and just I don't know, it feels very, very different from iteration number 1.
Yeah, it's like everyone's in it for the long haul. It feels
Yeah.
like.
And that they're all under contract. They all like. I was talking about this with a friend at the game tonight. This is like the worst this team is going to be.
Yeah.
Like what does year 3 Cason Wallace look like? What
Yep.
does year 4 without an injury Chet Holmgren look like?
What I was going to say is you better knock on wood because we said the same thing about the 2012 team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big thing.
Starting point guard Nikola Topic.
Yeah. That's the big thing that I've been trying to hold on to is that I thought that 2012 team would be back, and you just never know. The NBA these days feels like it's more about who is healthiest at the end of the year and not who is the most talented.
Mm-hmm.
The Thunder just happened to be both this year, and I don't know how many times that will happen again.
I think that's how I feel right now. Is I was thinking about this watching the trophy presentation. The 2012 team, that felt like that moment beating that Spurs team felt like the achievement in and of itself. That like validation for this Thunder franchise, validation for that big three, validation for the Thunder in the NBA. It felt like a major achievement. But it also, right, we were so focused on like, well, this is the beginning of a dynasty. Like the Thunder and the Heat are going to be back in the finals for the next who knows how many years. And we saw how that played out afterwards. So both of those thoughts rattling through my brain tonight, two things struck me in just like how I was reacting to the game. One, tonight didn't feel as momentous as it did in 2012. I don't know if you all feel that way. Like,
Yes.
awesome, super, super cool. But it's very much like the Kobe gif that keeps going around, like job's not finished, I think is very much how it feels right now. Because I remember how awful that 2012 finals felt. And then two, it's also like completely not taking any of this for granted. I agree with what you say, Jacob. Like the Thunder are set up for success for years to come in ways that the 2012 team wasn't. But you never know. You never know.
Exactly.
You never know. I saw people saying, "Oh, I'm not buying finals merch because if they lose, like I don't want to waste my money too early." Like absolutely not. I bought more finals merch tonight than I did in 2012 already because you don't know.
Enjoy
I
this.
don't know when you're going to get it again.
Enjoy
Justin,
this.
I think you nailed it. And your first point I love so much because I don't think it's just us fans. Obviously, us fans have been here once before. And it's just that, there obviously is a different time, like you said, like that was the Thunder's arrival to the NBA as a franchise and cementing themselves in the NBA. This go around, though, it does feel different. But I think it's also because of what this team preaches and what Shai, what Dagnall, all of them said post game. This isn't our final goal. This isn't our end goal. Like we have 4 more games we need to go win, which I love so much.
Just everybody.
0-0 mentality.
And then also, like, yes, the Thunder are going to improve and be incredible and are set up for long-term sustained success for the foreseeable future. But guys, and I'm curious your thoughts. Like I don't think there's going to be a better window than this season.
You never know.
Seeing how it's all come. But that's true. That's true.
And maybe this team's so good, like you don't even need a good window. Like just get this team to the playoffs.
They are
and they
the
got a
window.
Chance. They are the
Good
window.
point.
Do we need to do a King of the Prairie?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do that.
Is this like Emperor of the Prairie at this point? Or is
Sultan of the Prairie.
Overlord of the Prairie.
Yeah.
Prime Minister of the Prairie?
Hey,
Yeah.
do we want to do is King of the Prairie tonight for game 5 or is it for the Western Conference Finals?
Oh, I like that twist.
Why not both?
Let's do it for the Western Conference Finals. Justin, tell us about Prairie.
Prairie's great.
Thank you.
No, Prairie is phenomenal. Silva and I both rocking their merch tonight. Their beers are fantastic, and their tap room is a great place to go watch Thunder games, and of which we have more. So go check them out. They have $3 beer specials all day on every Thunder game day. They have a big TV, so a great place to go watch NBA Finals games with fellow Thunder fans.
Yeah, I was there to watch game 3, which was an unfortunate game. I did leave at halftime, but I had some of their new stuff there. I had their strawberry lemonade beer. Can't think of the name off the top of my head. It was amazing.
Strawberry Soulmate.
Yes, and I had Chet Happens, which is like a mango margarita type of beer. They're doing more like cocktail-esque drinks, like the Shea Secret Stuff, which is like a blueberry type of deal. And that was all very good. It's all very good.
So good.
All right. JD, who is your king of the Western Conference Finals Prairie?
Well, there's a lot of routes to go here. Should I give it to I almost thought I'm not gonna do this, but I was like, this one goes to Sam Presti for putting this one together. But I don't think I'm gonna do that. I am looking for a specific SGA.
Some of these comments are insane. I'm sorry.
It's insane. I'm giving it to SGA.
Killing it tonight.
Who am I kidding? It's going to SGA. Let me read you a little stat. Every player here is every player to average
stat.
Yeah. Every player to average 36 and 7 on 60% true shooting in a 12-game span in the playoffs. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Jokic, James Harden, and now SGA.
Dang it, Silva, you took my stat.
Good.
Got him.
Fuck it, Taylor.
Yeah, I think it's very hard to dispute that. Shai, just an incredible series, cementing his MVP after winning it finally. This series, just incredible.
Justin, who is your king of the Western
Yeah.
Conference Finals, Prairie?
Shai is the obvious pick, but I'm going to give it to J-Dub because of the ascension that he's had following the trash that was spread about him in the Denver series.
Absolutely.
Incredible bounce back. He has looked like every bit the player you needed J-Dub to be advancing to the NBA Finals. And they're going to need that version of J-Dub again for one more series if they want to finish the job. He was aggressive attacking the basket. He made his open looks. He was flying around on defense. The number of like steals and fast break breakaways that he got was incredible. OKC needs this version of Dub if they want a chance to win a title.
Can I give you Dub's series statistics?
Yes, please.
J-Dub played 34 minutes a game. He took 17 shots, was 49% from the floor, 46% from three on 5 attempts, 83% from the free throw line, averaged 22 points, 6.6 rebounds, 4.4 assists, 2 turnovers, and 2 steals a game.
Yeah, that'll work.
Pretty good.
That'll work.
Was that better than what Ant averaged? Like, it had to be pretty close.
That's a great question. I will pull that up and let you know as Taylor tells us his king of the Western Conference Finals, Prairie.
I basically retweeted Silva there because he took my stat. Props to him. That was great. But if I had to give a Prince of the Prairie for the series, I mean, Chet was. There's so many different directions we can go, but
just say Chet.
Talk about Alex Caruso. Yeah, yes, Chet.
Oh,
I mean,
never mind.
Chet, the big three. Caruso, what he brings to this team. I mean, we talked a lot about this series. The double big lineup, as great as it is, and it had some success this series, but it just wasn't sustainable overall throughout the series. And what was sustainable is when you put Alex Caruso in the game. When you needed a spark, he brought it. Defensively, we saw him have some huge games offensively and hit some big time, timely 3-point shots, cutting backdoor, getting to the rim, and then just, again, the intensity that he brings, the energy that he brings to the court. I mean, Alex Caruso, honestly, could be king of the Prairie for the entire playoffs so far for OKC, for being real honest.
I thought Chet also had a great series, and this was, to me, this was like Chet's coming out series. J-Dub was 22 points on 50, 46, 83 splits, 6.6 rebounds, 4.4 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 steals.
Wait, we got Dave?
I was waiting for y'all to finish. Let Jacob finish.
I wonder why people were telling me to shut up. I was like, what did I say?
Yeah. Let me finish real quick, and then we're going to celebrate Dave. Ant-Man, 23 points on 47% from the field, 28% from 3 on 8 attempts a game, 68% from the free throw line, 7.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 3.5 turnovers, minus 8.2 on the series average. Dave
is here. Dave is here again. He says OKC in 5. What did I say? 8 out of 9 is 88% accuracy. But seriously, Dave's been a Thunder fan since 2012. Can't believe we're here once again. Let's win it this time.
Absolutely.
I can't believe Dave's 8 for 9. That's
Dave
unreal.
is my king of the Prairie for the Western Conference Finals.
That's absolutely right.
And hey, Dave, I got something for you.
The comments of Dave's, I just scrolled 10 times through all the days.
Loves Dave.
Man of the people.
It's the NBA Finals. Bring your ass. Get to OKC, Dave. We need you.
Dinner on the uncontested.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it.
We were talking about Dub a little bit there and how awesome he was, especially defensively. He's about to guard Pascal Siakam in the NBA Finals.
Oh, that's going
to be an awesome matchup. An awesome matchup.
So fun.
Should we talk about that potential series at all tonight, or should we wait?
I think
We
we
wait.
save that.
Let's
Okay.
wait.
But
Let's wait.
We
can
got
I
a little
tell?
time.
Can I tell the folks about where we'll be?
Yes, please.
Yes.
We, not JD, because
Oh,
we
don't
might
do
get,
that.
I might throw a sack over his head, beat the shit out of
Yes.
him,
Right.
and throw him on an airplane.
Yeah.
Yes.
NSA, you didn't hear that. Please don't put me on the no-fly list. We are flying to Indianapolis for games 3 and 4.
Maybe road
So you-
tripping. But
you
still,
guys-
Let's go.
You guys will get
let's go.
live uncontested pods from Indianapolis should the Pacers not completely crap the bed and smoke this series, because we cannot go to New York.
No,
We can't afford
Can't
that.
afford that.
But if it is the Pacers, we will be in Indianapolis for games 3 and 4, bringing you live coverage from the Pacer. What is it? The something Fieldhouse?
Gainsbridge Fieldhouse. Gainsbridge? No,
I'm trying to come up
Okay.
with something clever that insults it, but I can't. What is Gainsbridge?
Going to be the Painesbridge Fieldhouse.
Ah, there it
Hey!
Zing.
We have a couple
So
other
you
super
guys
chats.
can
That's
look
it.
forward to a lot of great finals content from us. What other super chats we got?
We've got one from our guy Alan, who says, "Guys, I'm so stoked. I have to try to convince my wife to let me get the hat and the shirt, then hoping to get another shirt and hat after the finals."
Alan, let me give you some marriage advice.
Buy her one.
Buy her
That was
one
my thought.
and ask for forgiveness, not permission.
That's good advice. Good advice. That's it. It was just one, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Unreal. I can't believe we're
believe
doing an NBA Finals
No.
podcast
It
right
is
now.
insane.
I said this at the
Insane.
beginning after game 1 that like it's really cool to be doing our first Western Conference Finals podcast, and now we get to level up straight to the finals.
Oh, Caleb E in the chat. I gotta pull this up real quick. It's the Davesbridge Fieldhouse.
Hey, there we
Yes.
go.
That's
It's
amazing.
insane.
Justin, this has been a hell of a. This is a very lucky fan base, because this is the
Yes.
arc of this team is insane.
Yeah.
There are not many teams that have, in their 60+ year history of existence, have had this much success. But I think it's been 17 years, they've had
Yep.
young team, championship contender. It's kind of shifting to a different level of contender afterwards. 2-year rebuild, and then again a championship contender. They've had 3 MVPs at this
3
point.
MVPs.
That's what I was going to say. More MVPs than any other team in the league during that span.
It's a very
Oh, do you know the last team to have 3 MVPs in, like, who the second closest in time span is? Not 3 MVPs, 3 different MVPs.
Oh, 3 different MVPs.
3 different people.
the Lakers.
I was going to say Lakers or Celtics feel like safe bets.
Magic, Shaq, Kobe.
Wow. That's insane.
wild.
That's crazy.
They also, and I don't have this stat pulled up in front of me because it's from last year, but they're one of the most winning franchises in the NBA over their time span. I think they're like second behind the Spurs. Just incredible what Sam and Clay Bennett have built, which Mark talked a lot about post game as well, which I thought was cool.
2012 in the chat. Best team since 2012. It's going to live on, Taylor.
That is
Can't
going
shake
to
that
live
one.
on.
Can't shake
amazing.
As many of my things do. The spit take,
I don't know. Oh, yes.
Bucks,
Yeah.
big old racks.
Big ol' racks.
Yeah.
How's everyone?
It's wild.
How's everyone feeling
late.
about chances? You know, not to we're not gonna get into the series, obviously, but it feels real. It feels like a real possibility. This does not feel like going up against the LeBron Heatles.
Yeah. Right.
I,
I think that's
I think we're going to be podcasting at a parade.
Yeah,
I will be absolutely
oh my
disappointed
gosh.
if we were.
I can't get there
Yeah.
yet.
We're podcasting.
I can't get there
It's
yet.
hard.
I can't allow myself to get there yet. But to your point, Taylor, earlier, the opportunity that is in front of the Thunder is one that will not likely arise again. And that's not meant as a dig. It's not meant as a dig to either the Pacers or the Knicks. It's just that they're not the Celtics or the Cavs or the LeBron Heat or the, Kobe Bryant Lakers or the Dirk Nowitzki Mavs or all the other foes that could have been waiting to stand in your path for a championship. I absolutely think, assuming the Pacers are who the Thunder face, I think they're going to give the Thunder a fight. Their shooting makes me nervous. They obviously, unlike what we talked about with the Wolves and the Nuggets, of like, well, we know they're not going to shoot well on the road. Pacers have proven that doesn't matter, right? Like
Pacers haven't seen anything remotely close to this defense.
I don't disagree with that at all.
They're another team that's peaking at the right time.
Yeah, they're
peaking
playing
at
great
the right
offense.
time, and they stole
What
both home games in 1 and 2 from the Cavs and the Knicks.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a fast-paced
that's
game
worth
that's
something.
going to be, right? Like, Justin, two teams that play in transition.
We'll
fast,
have
young,
tons of
deep.
time to dive into this. Bottom line is Pacers have a great offense. Thunder have an historically good defense. I don't know how good the Pacers defense is. I think the Thunder will score on it.
Agreed.
It's also cool that, like, I know the small market narrative has been talked about, but also like two teams that aren't afraid to go 10 deep in their rotation. I think that's kind of a cool story too, right?
It's going to be, if it's Thunder Pacers, it's going to be high quality hoops.
Agreed.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I think depth is kind of a story of this playoffs, Justin. On both sides of the bracket.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Unlike if it was the Knicks, it becomes a very similar conversation to the Denver series, where it's like depth versus like a core group of guys that you just run ragged. I think it'll be. I think it's going to be a fun series.
I would like to see Hartenstein versus Zesty Karl Anthony Towns.
Dude, he's never shaken those allegations.
No,
he keeps doing stuff like that on the court.
No.
Gentlemen.
Oh my gosh.
Vibes are high. Do we call it a night here?
Probably so.
Because we got a big old podcast coming on.
That's
on
right.
Sunday.
We got to do an NBA Finals preview.
Crazy.
Assuming we can.
How wild would that be if the Knicks take this to 7 games now?
Yeah.
We got a comment in the chat from a Wolves fan. He says, "I'm a Wolves fan. I think Pacers will be the much tougher test. Should be a great NBA Finals. Pacers are athletic and Siakam is a solid second option, but you guys won 68 games for a reason." Now, that's not a lot of respect for your Wolves team, Evan, and that's not how you spell Siakam. But
respect.
Wow.
But
I thought you were going to like compliment
Me
him.
too.
I thought you were
thanks
too.
for hopping in the chat, Evan.
Yikes.
That was a nice
great
comment.
series. I hope you guys are able to find a way to keep Nickeil Alexander Walker because he is a great basketball player.
Agreed.
Did you know he's Shai's cousin?
No shit.
No
Yeah.
way, dude.
Let me show you this cool baby picture I found.
Evan said, "Ouch." I'm kidding, Evan. We appreciate you being kind. There was a lot of not kind Wolves fans in here after Game 3. Nice dude, Evan. 10 of 10 would meet.
Also, shout out Carrie for this comment. Black Eye of the NBA was said a little over 3 years ago, which is insane. Like, to
That's
put that
crazy.
in perspective.
Hey, and here we are, full circle. The black eye of the NBA again for a completely different reason. If you listen to Doris Burke,
A travesty of
social
the
media.
game of basketball.
Never
It is
happened.
crazy though. Like,
Silver, are you glad that you were eating that slice of pizza and didn't say anything to Doris Burke in that elevator?
You know what? Yes.
Okay.
She didn't deserve my time.
wow. Maybe we'll bump into her in Indy and we can.
That's right.
ESPN does the
Under
finals, right?
Chicks offering something
They
in
do.
the chat here. Hold on. Oh, she
yeah.
says celebration breakfast tomorrow morning on her at Seltzer's at the Omni. 10 a.m.
Wow.
That's another reason to join the Discord.
God.
That is a Discord reference from earlier because she sent us a picture of a very fancy brunch or breakfast.
Yeah.
And she is offering up to everybody now.
Also,
Shout out
Thunder
Thunder
Chick.
She's the best.
shared an anecdote. Speaking of sharing elevators, she ran into Ant this morning at the hotel and was wearing.
Was he writing child support checks?
She didn't specify. I don't think he writes those. Anyway, she was wearing one of our SGA MVP shirts while she spoke to him,
That's
and he let her know that the Timberwolves were winning tonight.
Yeah, how about that, Ant?
Yikes!
She did say
Or
he was
like-
pretty cool.
Someone in the chat earlier, I meant to star it and I forgot, but they called him Canthony Squidward.
I also saw Anthony shit the bedwards, which is pretty good.
Man, Ant really did struggle these past 2 games. Like
Yeah,
it is
He's
kind of
horrible.
crazy.
And
He's never seen
airballing
defense like
threes?
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
he was
just had-
complimentary of the Thunder after the game. He was like, he said,
Called him a puppet.
yeah, he said
yeah.
15 puppets on one string is what it felt
Yeah.
like playing against. Which, hey, I'll take
We
that.
finally stopped talking about the refs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Conley had a lot of praise as well. He was up there with
Yeah, Conley was
Anthony.
not good.
like-
Conley's done, man.
yes.
He said
It's like
that they beat,
39.
yeah, he said
Yeah.
they beat my
Yeah,
ass
he's
when I
done.
was young and they beat my ass when I was old.
What a way to go out.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
my
also
God,
like
Gary, you can't say that in the comments, my brother.
Gary.
I also appreciated Converse's post on
Oh,
social.
Converse
taking
just
shots
going
at
to
the
Ant
throat.
and
I love
Adidas.
it.
Oh, I
So
missed
good.
it. I need to pull
It's
it up.
really good. It's like talking about ants and things like that. I can't remember
That's
exactly
cool.
what it said, but it was good.
Was it
Nike
Rudy
Twitter
Gobert
or,
or
Nike had a good shot at other teams too. What did they say about
oh, that's awesome.
something about 68 wins? It felt like a shot at the people who were saying like the Thunder weren't very good. What did it say? 68 wins and a blowout to remind you who runs the West from Nike basketball.
It will be very, very entertaining to see what like ESPN talks about if it's the Thunder versus the Pacers in the finals.
It'll be more. Does Luka look thin at this
Yeah.
soccer game in Europe?
Luka Weight
and-
Watch.
Yeah, those are good. Booty Gobert and Julie ass no handle.
That's crazy.
Jacob, can we get as much as I hate Rudy Gobert?
Oh, absolutely. As much as I hate Rudy Gobert,
Thank you.
Yeah, you've just never
We
nailed
needed
it
that.
like you did with the original, but
I know.
The original was art.
I needed that.
thank you.
What a
All right,
night.
gentlemen.
What a team. What a
night.
season.
What a
There's-
yes.
As we get out of here, JD, you can pump the outro music.
Hopefully you can hear this.
I can hear absolutely nothing.
Nope. Sure
Okay.
can't.
Awesome.
Hopefully you can hear this in his face. Just
Now watch this drive.
Now watch this drive. I'll add it in post.
Okay. Well, there's a podcast coming eventually of us covering the Xavier Simpson, Georgios Kalazakis, Alexei Pokashevsky teams to now covering the NBA Finals and just how
Absolutely.
awesome and full circle that is. JD's first ever post game was the record-breaking loss to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Insane.
Yeah.
Now JD is going to be doing NBA Finals post-game podcasts in a week.
wow.
Just the journey has been incredible, but job's not done. You guys,
Job's not done.
the team will get back to work, but let's celebrate this next week of no basketball, knowing that this team is headed to the NBA Finals. We're going to be watching finals basketball in Oklahoma City. Take it in, enjoy it. Go snag some Western Conference Finals champs and some NBA Finals merch from the Uncontested shop. We'll put that link in the pod description and the YouTube description as well, so you guys will have that. Just live off these vibes. Enjoy it. That's what we're here for, man. Just it's incredible. It's awesome. Just bask in it for a while. We'll be back
Soak it all
Sunday.
up.
We'll be back Sunday to break down the NBA Finals. If that series is done, I think it will be. We'll see.
Should be.
Sunday's going to be a blast of a show. Make plans. Get here. We'll see you then. Thunder are NBA Finals bound. We'll see y'all soon. Until then, and as always, Thunder in 5.